Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm back, guys. I'm on my second ever night shift ever. Yesterday was my first one, and I was just reflecting on a interaction I had with a patient, and I came to the conclusion that communication is nothing without comprehension. Communication is nothing without understanding. And why do I say this? Because I believe that two people can talk for hours and hours, but they can still get nowhere. You can communicate for days and you still wouldn't understand each other. You'll still feel unheard and not listened to, and it's upsetting for you and for the person that you're in this situation with. And you can go into the detail and explain how you feel, and so can they, really. And you can just do this back and forth type of communication all day long, but nothing will actually work because you both are just not comprehending each other. What you need to do is to take a step back and appreciate each other and the position that you're both in. You take a step out of your shoes and put yourself in them shoes, or your perspective. And if you really don't do that, genuinely, this communication thing is just all a bunch of noise. You're just speaking to speak, really. And everyone is under the perspective that communication alone solves everything. But I believe it's just the foundation, or it's just the building blocks. Otherwise, we are all just speaking without hearing one another, and just in return, when you're in this back and forth conversation, you're just waiting for yourself to speak. You're just waiting to speak. It's like in a debate, you're not hearing in an argument, you're not hearing their thoughts or words. You're just ready to attack. You're ready to defend yourself. You're not really comprehending what they're saying. You just want to defend yourself in that situation. And that is like instinct. But what you need to learn, and is a skill that everyone needs to hone, not just you, me as well, is comprehension. We need comprehension, we need understanding, but it's so hard because if you want to pause defending for yourself and ask yourself their view, their thoughts, their perspective, why are they standing where they are? Why are they feeling where they are? Sometimes it's so hard. Sometimes you can't even make sense of what they mean. But at the end of the day, you need to try. We need to try. And the reflection that made me have this reflection is basically I was with a patient who was non-verbal and autistic, and they came in for an x-ray. And their way of communication was hitting things, was tapping. And my way of communication was verbal and eye contact and nodding of head. But that was their way of communication, and it came when we were trying to do the x-ray. It came to a point where I wasn't understanding what my patient was saying, and it was hard. It was really hard because I didn't understand their way of communicating. I couldn't comprehend it. They were trying to tell me something and I couldn't understand it. But they were communicating, but I couldn't understand. And by the time I had this consultation with them, it lasted around about 10 to 20 minutes. I realized their tapping means something. We communicated through their tapping. Light taps meant, okay, I understand. Harder taps means, no, don't push me that way, I'm uncomfortable. And silly taps meant, he's having fun. They're having fun. And the more I realized, the more I joined in on their communication, because the more I was understanding, the more I was looking at their perspective, looking at life through their lens. And it just made everything go so easy. The x-ray was beautiful, the image was great, and I was comfortable. I was really, really comfortable in what was going on. And I realized they were. When they came in, they had their defense up because they were ready to realize that no matter how hard they communicate, they already knew, like, if this healthcare worker is not willing to communicate with me or willing to understand my communication, the x-ray is going to go really bad. And they had their guard up. They were in ready, guns blazing. And I realized in this situation what type of healthcare worker I want to be, and I try to be. I want my patients to feel at ease. I want people in general to feel at ease when they're with me. I want them to be able to feel content after a consultation. Like, I always pray that when anyone has me in their life, or even just a passing person on the street, even a stranger, and I make conversation, I want to leave a positive impact on people, whether that's my words, my smile, my mannerisms. I just want people to feel good, and that's how I want to impact them. And especially with patients, I want their patient journey to be one of the most beautiful things they can ever see. Because at the end of the day, it's like, let's say 2 partners, they can communicate all they like, but if you're not understanding your partner, you're not getting anywhere. And you can say, people, at the end of the day, you could communicate, right? And you could comprehend what your partner is feeling, but they might not for you. They might have not honed that skill. And it's frustrating. And when you put yourself and all your cards on the table, and you're not getting it in return, what I want to say is okay to walk away. Because communication is needed, but comprehension is what is more needed. And if your partner, if your friend, if any relationship in your life, and you're not receiving that, but you're giving that, understand you've done what you need to do. And don't feel obligated to stay in that situation. Because I've been in situations where I do share my feelings, and I understand from their perspective. So I apologize. I say, I'm sorry I made you feel that way. That was not my intention. But I feel a certain way. But they don't acknowledge that. They don't understand that I could feel a certain way about something. They think about themselves. They're already in their own position. So this is what I mean, to put yourself in their perspective. And I guess it's like putting yourself in someone's shoes. It's like giving empathy. But putting yourself logically in someone's lens makes it easier when it comes to comprehending something, especially difficult conversations. As everyone can present their case and communicate, but it gets exhausting if the other person is just hearing your words and not understanding the meaning behind them. So I would say it's okay to leave, because it's not your job to make them understand. You can only express yourself so much and try to make them understand. But if they are not getting the hint, then give yourself the liberty, give yourself grace, and move with grace, and forgive yourself. Don't overthink that situation. Do what you need to do most. Be kind to yourself, be kind to them, and leave with grace. That's what I would say. And the aim isn't just to speak, but it's to care enough. So, like, oh my god, my words are slurring. Give me a second. Okay, so the aim isn't just to speak, but to care enough, to take time, to understand, to comprehend your person. The person that you love, the person that you care about, the person that you treasure, the person that you value their opinions of, is to take time to care enough for them, and they should be doing that for you, vice versa. So communication just equals a load of piled up frustration when being done over and over and again, and without understanding the meaning behind the words, there's honestly no reason for communication to occur. So if you find yourself, because I do sometimes, trying to communicate my feelings over and over again, but the person on the opposite side does not understand Give yourself grace. Because a person can say, oh, you didn't communicate properly, right? But you know from the situations you've had before, I've tried to communicate before, but you don't understand and you take the defense. That's what you say to them, and they take more offense, and you find them slowly moving out your life. And that's not your problem, because you've done enough. Because at the end of the day, communication is nothing without comprehension. And you comprehended, but they didn't. But yeah, that was my reflection that I've done on placement, I guess. But I thought it really is a skill that's needed in all aspects of your life, professionally and personally. And I thought maybe it could help some people out there, as it helped myself. But yeah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And I really appreciate if you guys like and subscribe, because you could help a girl out at university. But yeah, okay, bye, love you.